Imagine a life where money works for you instead of you working for money. A world where you're not shackled by financial worries, where your wealth grows without you having to sweat and toil for every penny. This isn't just a pipe dream, it's a reality that can be achieved through financial literacy, a crucial skill that many of us unfortunately overlook. Financial literacy isn't about becoming a Wall Street whiz or a stock market guru, it's about understanding how money works, how it grows, and how it can be managed efficiently. It's the compass that guides us through the financial wilderness, helping us avoid the pitfalls of debt and financial mismanagement. One of the best resources for understanding financial literacy is the timeless classic, The Richest Man in Babylon. Penned by George Samuel Clason, this book introduces the 5 laws of gold, principles that can guide anyone towards financial prosperity. These aren't complex economic theories, but simple, accessible truths that have stood the test of time. The first law teaches us that gold, or wealth, comes gladly to those who understand its ways. The second law imparts the lesson that wealth works diligently for those who employ it wisely. The third and fourth laws tell us that wealth clings to the cautious but slips away from the reckless. The fifth law warns against unrealistic expectations and the dangers of quick riches. Now you might be wondering, are these laws still relevant today? Absolutely. The principles outlined in The Richest Man in Babylon are universal and timeless. They apply as much to a 21st century entrepreneur as they did to a Babylonian merchant. In fact, these laws are more relevant today than ever before. In a world where financial information is just a click away, understanding the laws of gold can give you the edge you need to navigate the financial landscape, make informed decisions, and grow your wealth. So, are you ready to embark on this journey of financial literacy? Are you ready to learn the laws of gold and harness their power? By understanding these laws, you too can become the master of your wealth. The first law of gold states, gold comes gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will save not less than 1/10 of his earnings. Let's break this law down, shall we? It suggests that if you save at least 10% of your earnings, you'll notice your wealth growing over time. You might think, well, 10% doesn't seem like much, right? But it's not about the amount you save initially. It's about the habit you build and the accumulation over time. Imagine having a huge jar and each day you put a single pebble in it. At first it doesn't seem like you're accomplishing much, but keep at it, day after day, year after year, and that jar will eventually fill up. The same principle applies to saving money. Now let's sprinkle in some magic. The magic of compound interest. Compound interest is when the interest you earn on your savings also begins to earn interest. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and faster with each passing moment. That's why Einstein famously called it the 8th wonder of the world. So, the first law isn't just about saving money, it's about building a habit, being consistent, and letting the magnificent power of compound interest do its work. This first law is the foundation of wealth building, setting the stage for the gold to come to you. The second law of gold instructs, gold labors diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment. Now what does this mean? In essence, this law is all about putting your money to work. It's not enough to just accumulate wealth and let it sit idle. No, the real game changer here is investing wisely. You see, investing is the key to making your money grow. It's like planting a seed and watching it sprout into a mighty tree. So, how does this differ from saving? While saving is a crucial part of wealth creation, it's more about preserving what you have. Investing, on the other hand, is about growing what you have. It's about finding profitable ventures where your gold can labor diligently and multiply. Think of it this way, your money is your worker. A good boss doesn't let his workers sit idle, he finds them productive tasks. Similarly, a wise owner of gold doesn't let his money sit idle, he finds it profitable employment. But remember, this doesn't mean throwing your money at every opportunity that comes your way. You need to be wise and discerning, understanding the risks and potential rewards of each investment. So, the second law of gold is not just about having money, it's about making your money work for you. It's about transforming your gold into a diligent worker that brings you wealth. Your gold must not just sit, it must work for you diligently and profitably. The third law says, gold clings to the protection of the cautious owner, while the fourth law advises, gold slips away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar. So, let's delve into these two laws. They both emphasize the importance of being cautious and knowledgeable when dealing with your gold, your wealth. It's like holding a bird. Hold it too loose, it flies away. Hold it too tight, you might crush it. Balance is key. Now imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff, blindfolded. Would you take a step forward? Most likely not, because you understand the risk involved. This is exactly how you should approach your investments. Each investment is a step towards an unknown future. You wouldn't want to take that step blindfolded, would you? That's where due diligence comes in. It's like removing the blindfold before you take that step. It involves researching and understanding the investment, its risks, and its potential returns. This isn't about predicting the future, but rather about making informed decisions. Take the case of a guy who heard about the next big thing in the tech industry. Without doing his due diligence, he invested all his savings into it. Unfortunately, the next big thing turned out to be a big bust. His gold slipped away because he invested in something he wasn't familiar with. Now, contrast that with a woman who owned a bakery. She knew the ins and outs of her business, from the cost of flour to the price customers were willing to pay for a cupcake. When she decided to expand her business, it was a calculated risk. She was familiar with her business, understood the market, and had a clear vision for her expansion. Her gold clung to her because she was a cautious owner, investing in what she knew. To sum up, the third and fourth laws of gold teach us to be cautious and knowledgeable. They warn us against reckless investing and remind us of the benefits of due diligence in understanding our investments. So protect your gold diligently, and only let it go for investments you understand. The fifth law warns, gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers. Let's take a moment to unpack this, shall we? In essence, this law is cautioning against the lure of get-rich-quick schemes and the temptation to force your money into generating impossible returns. It's a warning against greed, impatience, and the all-too-human tendency to seek shortcuts to wealth. Think about the countless stories you've heard about people losing their life savings in high-risk, high-return investments. Those tales of woe are almost always the result of someone trying to force their gold into impossible earnings. They're seduced by the promise of quick riches, of turning a few thousand into a few million overnight. They're drawn in by the smooth talk of tricksters and schemers who promise the world but deliver nothing. In reality, wealth accumulation is a slow and steady process. It requires patience, discipline, and a realistic understanding of the potential returns on your investments. It's about making your gold work for you, but not expecting it to perform miracles. Consider the story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare, with all its speed and agility, was confident of a swift victory. But it was the tortoise, slow and steady, who ultimately won the race. The same principle applies to the accumulation of wealth. The hare-like investors who chase after impossible earnings often end up empty-handed. The tortoise-like investors, on the other hand, who invest wisely and patiently, often come out on top. Remember, gold is a shy creature. It doesn't like to be rushed or forced. It flees from unrealistic expectations and false promises. But if you treat it with respect, if you nurture it and allow it to grow at its own pace, it will stay with you. It will grow steadily over time, compounding and multiplying until you have a mountain of gold. So, heed the wisdom of the fifth law. Avoid the temptation of impossible earnings and the siren song of tricksters and schemers. Invest wisely, patiently, and realistically. Remember, gold is a shy creature. It flees from unrealistic expectations and false promises. Treat it with respect, and it will stay with you, growing steadily over time.